let's talk a little bit about, for our listeners that might not be familiar with Bradley Hospital, what it does, what you do there, the level of care, and really what you provide to the community.
I would say that Bradley Hospital is much more than a hospital. We do have patients that, require inpatient psychiatric treatment, and we have 70 inpatient beds. But in addition to that, we help care for kids in the community. So our real goal is to keep children functioning as well as possible in their home environments for as long as possible.
Mhm.
So we provide outpatient treatment. We provide partial treatment, which is where kids need something between a hospital and being at home. And we provide inpatient treatment. And our goal really, like I said, is to keep kids functioning as well as possible with their families.
We are very proud to be able to offer our services to every child because we accept insurance, and there are psychiatric services in many places in Rhode Island and outside of Rhode Island that do not accept insurance. So we really are all about access. To make that possible, we do receive support from individual donors, from foundations and corporate supporters who allow us to do that, because as you've probably heard for a very long time, while there's supposed to be parity with insurance reimbursement for psychiatric care, as just as it is with medical care, it's not always true. And there are many of our services that are under reimbursed, in which case, so the contributions from donors allow us to make sure everyone gets the care that they need.
Now, one of the greatest things about living in Rhode Island is the strength of the healthcare options that we all have so close to home. And it may surprise some to learn that the country's first psychiatric hospital, as I mentioned earlier, devoted entirely to children, is right here in East Providence. For those who may seem unfamiliar, what makes Bradley Hospital so unique?
I think just what you said, that we're an entire, hospital, and even off of the campus, devoted solely to children and families and supporting their mental health. And I think that makes us very unique. And even though we may be a small state, when we travel, if you were to travel around the country, you would be hard pressed to find anywhere that offers the breadth and depth of services at the level that we do.
Now, what has the impact of the pandemic? I mean, we've gone through this. It's impacted everybody mentally. On children's mental health, I mean, what are you seeing as a result of the past few years?
Well, I think, we had a children's mental health crisis that preceded COVID, and COVID just added additional stress to children and families. As we know, family stress impacts children, and it impacted children at important stages in their development. And so we're seeing a pretty powerful impact of that. We have increased rates of depression, increased rates of anxiety, and we have, little children entering schools that didn't have the opportunity to develop certain kinds of basic skills that they're now having to learn, in the school setting. So teachers are really challenged with kids that are less prepared to be entering a social setting. So in addition to needing to address academics, they're needing to also address sort of their social emotional issues. We've been able to expand our programs, which we feel very fortunate to be able to do. So we have Bradley Reach, which is where we are bringing some virtual partial hospital programs to areas around the country that do not have services to meet that level of care for their community. So we're sort of taking what are some of our expertise and bringing it to other parts of the country through virtual treatment. In addition, we are expanding. We have a children's partial hospital program that we just opened in East Greenwich. We also have the Bradley Learning Exchange, which is literally reaching tens of thousands of people, not just in Rhode Island, but around the country and even around the world, to teach about suicide prevention, mental health first aid,
Mhm.
trauma-informed care in all different types of settings. And this is not just for mental health providers. This is for first responders, for teachers, for schools. We're sort of doing our best to make mental health and caring for people with mental health issues just part of the fabric of society.
Another way Bradley Hospital meets youth where they are and in response to their treatment needs is the Bradley Center. And this is also the beneficiary of the hospital's up and coming gala, which I'm excited to talk about in a couple moments. But Amanda, can you tell us about the Bradley Center? And I know you touched on it a little bit before, but why it's such an important part of the hospital's continuum of care?
Sure. The
Mhm.
Bradley Center, like I said before, it offers a little bit more time. So kids and families present to us and often to the hospital or to the local emergency department in a mental health crisis. And as Dr. Horowitz mentioned earlier, it's really important that we get kids in the least restrictive setting as possible. So while we don't always want everybody on an inpatient unit, sometimes teens, especially in this day and age with all this information coming at them, need to turn the volume down on life. And the Bradley Center offers the space to do that. So they come, they continue their treatment. We offer cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectical behavior therapy for teens and their families. So it's really important for us to get them back on track.